Hi, this is Robin Heppel from funeralfuturist.com, and today I'm here with Ron Hast. Ron, welcome to Funeral Gurus.
Thank you.
Ron is the publisher of Mortuary Management and the Funeral Monitor. And here we're in San Francisco at Ron's seminar. And Ron, in the past, we've talked a little bit about the relationship that you had with Jessica Mitford. And I was just wondering if you could maybe just give the audience a little bit of a insight into that relationship. And
Well, I didn't really have a relationship.
well, you've communicated with her often, or you did.
But we did. We chatted quite a bit, and when I first met her, she was, of course, a character that everybody in funeral service was pretty much negative about, for the fact that she had written a book that was quite entertaining, and also was pretty negative about traditions in our business. But I decided when I first met her, she was very humorous, very, very articulate, and she knew her business. She wasn't just really off the wall. She did research. She knew what she was talking about, and so I thought that I, for one, would just listen to her and be kind and develop a dialogue. And I found that to be very worthwhile. And it went on for quite a long while, from the time she began testifying to the government about funerals and writing various things, various articles that she did for our magazine. And so it was an interesting experience.
And you actually had her present at one of your seminars.
Yes, her last public appearance was at a seminar we had in Tiburon, and she was, I would say, very, very well received. A few hecklers, but she had her, as I mentioned before, she had her information really down pat, and had very good reason and the groundwork of her position on death care and funerals.
Now, you had mentioned to me earlier also that when she died, you were the only funeral director at her memorial service.
That's true.
Can you tell me what was that service like?
It was very, very enlightening. It certainly wasn't, well, I should start by saying, as far as her body was concerned, at the time of death, they called a company that specialized in simplicity and cremation and scattering at sea. And so her body followed her opinions along the way, but of her memorial service, actually, there was no body present, but there were 600 people that attended, and it was a number of weeks after she died, which is kind of unusual when a person has died and then some length of time goes on before their memorial service. 600 people attended, and they actually, well, her closest assistant called and said that I was certainly welcome to come and be there at the funeral. And I found that in their own creative way, it was well done. There was only one mistake that I could see, and that was they had one register book for people to sign and no attendant at that register book. And so with 600 people, that was kind of a little bit of a bottleneck. But other than that, it was an enlightening, interesting, well done affair. And later I thought, this is kind of interesting. People think, well, all she cares about is two funerals. Well, I did find out that they spent over $15,000
Really?
on the details of this memorial service, which included, and she was always against using a funeral director for formalities, but they got an antique horse-drawn hearse from a funeral director, and they kind of snuck around a little bit to get the support system that they needed. But I was the only funeral director invited. In fact, there was some conversation about the fact that funeral directors just didn't fit there.
Okay. Now, kind of when her job was done, the last comments that she had to you, or the last time you spoke. What were
I
her
asked
thoughts?
her. She had written quite a lengthy feature article in Mortuary Management about her opinions, and so I asked her way later on if it was time now, again, for her to address this issue of funerals and what she felt about them and how things may or may not have changed since she made her wishes or her ideas known publicly so well. And she said, no, I don't think so. She said, I really feel that I've accomplished what I've set out to do. And that was, she said, I have no problem with people who want to spend any amount of money or do whatever they want. I think she thought that the attention to the body itself, as far as makeup and presentation, was kind of an ugly idea. But she said, if they want to spend that money and they want to do whatever they want to do, that's their business. What I intend, what I want to do and really wanted to address was accessibility to simplicity. If somebody does not want a funeral or does not want to engage in the general habits of formalities, they shouldn't have to, and they shouldn't have to pay for that which they didn't get. She said, and I feel now that if somebody cares enough about it to look in the newspapers or other places, they are going to find access to that simplicity at a fair price. And she said, essentially, that was my goal.
And if that was her goal, she's achieved it, because
She
now we
certainly
know there's a lot of different options out there for families to choose.
Well, in many places, her concept of simplicity, as far as the body is concerned, is now the tradition in communities rather than the alternative. In the county that I live, which is just across the Golden Gate Bridge here, Marin County, they've now exceeded 90% of every death that is registered in that county has been cremated. And very few of them, by percentage-wise, are with formalities provided by a funeral home.
Interesting. But it's always changing, right, Ron?
Well, it's been said a lot in our magazine too, and other writings that I've keep reminding people there's nothing more certain than change.
That's right.
And that certainly relates to death care and funeral service.
That's true. Well, Ron, thanks for sharing. You're a guru, and you're watching funeralgurus.com. Thanks, Ron.
You're certainly welcome.
So that's it.
Very good.
I really appreciate that.